All right, for the past couple months, I've been seeing all these new data centers going up, and I've made a couple small threads and posted a couple things on my small, minute social media sites. Made a couple little videos and done just small little bit of research on it and found some interesting things, made some interesting connections, and I'm going to try to loop some different thoughts together in a short amount of time. So I know a lot of people can't take a lot of information in a large package, so I'll try to keep it short, keep it straight to the point. My last video session was on the Facebook Altoona, Iowa site, and at the beginning, I thought it was just one of the 5 buildings was the Facebook building, and it was about 456,000 square feet of server space, which is a lot. And I've noticed, quite a few other spots around the country. A lot of them out in Oregon, Umatilla, Oregon. The first thing that I noticed that was off was the fencing. The fencing looks a lot like the border wall. It has the crash-proof barrier, the concrete bottom with the steel rod top. And all these sites have the exact same fencing, like they coordinated and planned together. They all had the same type of contractor. Um, I've looked twice since then, and after looking through it today, the same Altoona site is 10 buildings, and it is over 5 million square feet of server space. And normally these server farms are not very tall buildings. They keep them short, just like your refrigerator. Cubic feet is how much refrigeration space it requires. Servers take a lot of electricity, and it requires refrigeration. That you have to keep them cool. So if you make them a big building, tall building, it's going to require a lot more electricity and a lot more energy to keep it cool, and so it's just not very cost effective. So most of them are just not very tall. They're flat roof buildings, and they're just not very tall. Well, these are they got to be somewhere between 75 and 100 feet tall. So they're, 4 to 5 times taller than any normal one I've ever seen before. So they're monsters, absolutely huge. So after looking today, Facebook alone has 63 separate projects. That's in the United States. 63 projects, all being built at the same time. Most of them being finished by the year 2023. Some of them may already be online. 5 overseas in 18 different states. States like Iowa, and I'm telling you, the Iowa facilities, like I said, there's the 10 buildings there. And they also link, if you start your research, if you want to look into this, you start your research with just the Facebook Altoona thing. It'll lead you to some other stuff. It also links you to other sites nearby within 15 miles. And it will link you to Microsoft sites. And you get looking into Microsoft, and you look at Project Alluvium, Project Osmium, and I think the Project Ginger was overseas, more like a London operation. They've also got Singapore, Australia. You look at the world map, and it was Australia and India, Singapore, Philippines, China, Japan, several all over Europe, Sweden, Canada, us, looked like one in Brazil, somewhere in that area. The one out in Oregon. There's several out there that you can see, and one of them, if you look on Google Maps, is tied to Amazon. So now we have, sorry about the train, Microsoft, Amazon, and Facebook, all tied to the same fencing, the same building style, the same type of business model, the same type of investment, all the same timing. what makes this odd. Facebook, most people that might watch this video already knows where Facebook comes from. Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg didn't come up with anything to do with Facebook. Project LifeLog was a DARPA project, and it was something to track and monitor every human being from birth to death. Track and monitor. Remember those words because it'll come back up in our talk. But the problem with it was unconstitutional. You're not allowed to just track people and spy on people without their permission, without their knowledge. So you find some squirrely little kid, hand him a military project, change the name of it, and on February 4th, LifeLog goes offline, Facebook comes online, and bam, there you go. You've got a government asset in the hands of Mark Zuckerberg, and it grows and it grows, and everybody loves it, and we all use it. But they don't have any products. They don't distribute anything. They don't ship anything. There's nothing to be had. It's just server space. It's just cloud. And I mean, like the phones we use, everything. The DNC hack came out on a zip drive. You know what I'm saying? I mean, a lot of data can come in a little bitty SD card. You don't need 30 million square feet. And when we talk about it in normal terms, we're talking at a 10-foot range. We're not talking about 70, 80, 90 feet of servers. We're talking about 10 feet of servers. So you take 30 million and multiply it, let's just say by 150 million, and that's just Facebook. That's not Microsoft, that's not Amazon, and God knows who else is in on it. So these are just things that, with small amount of research, I can get onto. And there's people all over this country that see things. I'm fortunate enough to go around the country and see things that most people don't see. Everybody sees their own little bubble. My bubble's everywhere, so I get to see a little more. So I went by the one today, and this is one of the off-site Microsoft places, and it was a lot harder to get to. I really thought I could go up and film it. I got a couple of crappy pictures of it, and same building style, same everything, same money. You look at the projects, and Facebook and Amazon, they link to each other's sites. So you've got the 10 buildings over at Altoona, plus 7 other sites. So you're talking about 17 very large supercomputing, whatever kind of server sites, all in just the Des Moines area. Just the Des Moines area. Not to mention, the other 100, 150, 200, who knows how many elsewhere in the United States and everywhere else. So you've got, just in this area, just in the central hub, you've got that much, and you're talking billions of dollars. And they brag on the zero emissions, and they had to do a little bargaining, and they didn't come in advertising as, hey, Facebook wants to move to Iowa. And there was a reporter from one of the local newspapers here that recognized a shell company name that Facebook had previously used years before in buying some property. And so he kind of busted them out. And all this buying of property and starting to build these projects all took place in 2016, when a certain Miss Clinton was supposed to take office. So starting in 2016, they started moving towards this stuff. So now that we all understand that there's billions and billions of dollars and so many of these supercomputer farms all going up at the same time all over the country, they're bragging that there's zero emissions. And me and a friend, we always talk, why these windmills? Why these? All ran on windmills, all on Green New Deal energy. So link that. Again, they don't sell anything, they don't produce anything. What's the point of moving them all over the country? Why not just have them in one location? Why not buy a county, build all the server space you need one place, deal with it one place? What's the point of moving it all over? So right now, everybody just got, well, not everybody, but a lot of people around the world, in our country, all those countries with blue dots on the map that have these new server farms, uh, they've all got new technology recently put into their bodies. So you've got this new issue that they're rushing to put in everybody's body with this new technology. You've got hundreds of server farms going up at the exact same time, exact same fencing, same building style. And what I would say, Defense Department, DARPA assets, Facebook, Microsoft, all in charge of it. And then you take Davos, Switzerland, the World Economic Forum, and you listen to what the who's who of the what's going to be the future of the world, the globalists, the ones that control the big old money. You know, when you talk about the banking systems and the Green New Deals and the climate accords and all that nonsense. You know, what are they saying at Davos? What's Klaus Schwab saying? You know, he's talking about the cyber pandemic being worse than this one. So I'm thinking, they're all building off of this windmill, which is useless power. It costs you $30 to run a coal-fired plant, costs you $100 to run a windmill. Why in the world would you want to subsidize these windmills that may or may not work, and you can't recycle, and they're going to break down after 10 or 20 years, and they're stupid, you know. But what happens if you plan a cyber pandemic, you melt down everybody's power, you already have everybody connected to these new servers, and when you put everything back online, only your technology works. All this stuff ran off their windmills. For another time, you can get into, you know, the Chinese windmill factories, like the one right across from Colorado Springs Air Force Academy. We've got Indian, Canadian, Chinese windmill factories right in our own country. Thousands of these things, useless, and they got a lot of them here in Iowa. So I'm going to assume that most of these buildings going up are somewhere near where they're putting these windmills. So you got Klaus Schwab talking about the fourth industrial revolution, and the fourth industrial revolution being within you. Like you'll have to be purchasing new subscriptions within you with the technology inside you, and you look at Pfizer's new patent and how it is already connected to the web. And you talk about the World Economic Forum talking about how before we always wanted to do this, but we never had the computing power. But now we have the computing power. Well, now we're building hundreds of giant server farms and supercomputers and cold storage places and info bunkers and if you just connect the dots, if you just put them together, these are all connected. They're all part of it. Nobody goes and spends that kind of money without a plan. And when you're talking about these companies, Microsoft, stuff like that, these aren't places that are shipping out products. These are not people that are like, oh, let's build something and sell it. These are products that already work. Your Facebook already works. They're not going to profit more off of these buildings unless there's something new going on. And what's new going on in the world today? Just this new technology that everybody must get. And they must get it immediately, or else you're not going to be able to use your banking, and you're not going to be able to go to the store, and you're not going to be able to go to school, and we're going to fire you, and oh, you're so dirty and a second-class citizen. And it doesn't matter that the data says it doesn't work. It doesn't matter that people are dying, and I don't even think that was the point of the thing, was to hurt us. You know, I just think that some people are rejecting the programming. I mean, some of the programming just doesn't work on everybody. And they don't care, you know. It was never about health and well-being. It was about just a whole new thing. And it's not with our consent. They're not being honest. And these billions of dollars, this is like I said, these were all military projects. Microsoft, Facebook, TikTok, all this stuff. None of this stuff is truly built for your entertainment. None of this is a product that's a good thing for you. These are all weapons, and they're all used to psychologically profile you, track you, understand you, manipulate your buying and your emotional habits. We get to use these things against them, but they're using them against us. We couldn't learn this stuff, spread this information without them. But the cost on the people is, the trade-off is horrible. And a lot of us in this community that know about a lot of this stuff, we all think that there's some white knight coming. But if that white knight never comes, people are going to need to know where these places are. That's all I got to say about it. Until the next time. And by the way, anybody gets a hold of this, take it, use it, and do whatever you want with it. It's all yours. I don't need credit. I don't want nothing. We need to figure all these things out. It needs exposed. It needs talked about. Because I've never heard anybody talk about this stuff. And how would anybody know? They're just building sites. So let's connect some dots, put it together, make sure we get this one right. Love you.